calendar what is this, the EMF safety network application, and let me address that. My fellow commissioners, this decision would dismiss the EMF safety network's application to modify 2 previous commission decisions and the EM safety network's request to open an investigation into the health effects of the radio frequencies produced by smart meters. As the decision notes, all radio frequencies in PG&E smart meters are licensed or certified by the Federal Communications Commission, the federal agency in Washington, D.C., and comply with all FCC requirements. In fact, many claim and say that RF levels resulting from smart meters when just 10 feet away are 1 to 6,000 of the levels allowed by the FCC. There's been some dispute of that in comments here today. To put these RF levels into context, the RF levels produced by smart meters fall well below common household items like cell phones, garage door openers, baby monitors, Wi-Fi access points, and laptops with Wi-Fi. I'd also like to briefly address DRA's comments on this matter. In this decision, we're relying on the FCC and its expertise in the areas of establishing safe RF levels. In establishing their requirements, the FCC considered input from other agencies, including the World Health Organization and the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and numerous factors, including health, before making a final determination. Furthermore, the RF safety levels established by the FCC are already set an order of magnitude below what has been deemed to be safe as a precaution. As such, I believe that relying on the FCC in this case is reasonable, prudent, and fully consistent with our responsibility to provide safe and reliable electric service to ratepayers. We're relying on the federal agency in this regard. Further, and finally, if there are concerns that the FCC standards are inaccurate, incomplete, or ineffective, you should take these concerns to the Federal Communications Commission. It's the proper body. I'd like to thank ALJ Sullivan and our legal division staff for their hard work and careful review of this matter. I move the item and request your support. Are there comments on this matter by anyone? Commissioner Simon?
Thank you, President Peevey. Colleagues, I want to express support for this item, but with a few qualifications and observations. First, while the application of the EMF safety network is specific to our decision authorizing PG&E's advanced metering infrastructure deployment, PG&E should not be singled out with respect to any alleged issues around EMFs and radio frequencies. Rather, any health and safety concern should be viewed on a statewide and, from a technology standpoint, industry-wide basis. Second, this decision observes that the incremental radio frequency emissions from PG&E smart meters are not significant on a standalone basis, and no new facts or evidence have been presented in this application with which to challenge this finding. However, as requested by Assembly members Jared Huffman of Marin and Bill Monty of Santa Cruz, the California Council on Science and Technology is investigating the cumulative effects of RFs from smart meters with other technologies and whether the FCC's guidelines are sufficient to protect public health. I look forward to the published findings of this study and will carefully evaluate any new evidence of health impacts posed by the statewide deployment of smart meters and, again, other technologies. Until then, we should reserve judgment and continue to observe and implement all of the adopted AMI decisions. I would also like to add that I share concerns, and while I support President Peevey's decision, I do feel that the state has an obligation in the area of public safety to its citizens. And for the reasons stated, I, as one commissioner on this dais, am not opposed to the notion or idea of this commission, along with possible other state agencies, pursuing a more in-depth study of the impacts. But I will await such time to the study that I've mentioned in my remarks before contributing on any further actions on the part of this agency. So ultimately, this proposed decision by President Peevey and Administrative Law Judge Sullivan is reasonable in light of the data that we have available to us today, but I remain open to further study, and I encourage my fellow commissioners' support as well. Thank you.
Call for moratorium.
Thank you. I will vote to deny the petition. I have considerable sympathy with the people who have expressed concern, and I thank you for coming here today in our past meetings. But the fact of the matter is a petition for modification is not the right procedural vehicle. I don't think this issue is going to go away, and so I think an appropriate step for this commission to take would be to request our staff to prepare a white paper looking at matters and working with the other agencies that are also looking at this, so that there is a way that we can really look everybody in the eye and say we've addressed this issue and we feel that we're taking the right steps. But for today, I will vote to deny the petition on the procedural grounds. Thank you.
Call for moratorium.
Commissioner Bohn, do you wish to speak to this item?
Yes, thank you. First, I would like to associate myself with Commissioner Simon's comments. I think this act today is the appropriate one, given both the procedural focus and the simple fact that there is under study a scientific approach to this. As I listen to the very real concerns expressed by the members of the audience, both this week and in the past, I'm struck by the differing reasons for concern. The first reason is almost a democracy one and an individual rights one, and it would apply way beyond smart meters and other things, and that is the government stay out of my face, an area which I confess to have a great deal of sympathy with. Set against that is the public concern and the public interest in empowering people who use electricity to control and monitor the cost that the price that they pay for that use. So we have on the one hand very real concerns as expressed eloquently here and before of personal health. And my sense is that these are real concerns, these are immediate concerns, and need to be dealt with. We don't know at this point, and cannot know based on this petition, what the appropriate response can be to weigh the interests of people who have also a right to be able to control their costs against those who are concerned about public safety. And whether opt-out is the right thing, whether it is a different technology, remains to be seen. But what's driving, I think, the concerns of this commission is really the science basis for the concern. And unless and until we have that kind of science basis, which in fact, as Commissioner Simon points out, is in fact now being undertaken at a statewide level, I think it's incumbent upon us to continue the process we're having and await that scientific response. When we have that, I think it's entirely appropriate then to enter into a process whereby we will weigh the various costs and benefits.
Stop the smart meter.
Prove that it's safe. Prove that it's safe.
Commissioner
Stop
Ryan.
employment until it's safe.
It's an experiment right now. It's an experiment.
Get a rebellion on your hands.
That's life. Commissioner Ryan, do you wish to speak to this item?
Yes, thank you, President Peevey. I will be voting no on this item. And I want to be clear that the reason that I'm voting no is not because I disagree with the content of the decision, but that I disagree with the timing of this vote. I do think it's appropriate for us to wait until the CCST report is released, and that's not too far from now in the future. So my preference would have been to take up this item at a later point in time. I also want to say that I, as the assigned commissioner in the commission's smart grid proceeding, I have a very keen awareness of the many benefits that smart meters and the other smart grid investments upstream from them will bring to customers throughout California, the role that the smart grid investments will play in meeting our, in achieving our environmental goals, particularly our greenhouse gas reduction goals, our objectives to increase the amount of renewable energy that we use in California. I think that many people throughout California will gain from being able to control and manage their energy use and their bills. I want to address two concerns that were raised today. The first one is some speakers remarked that the smart meters would permit PG&E or whoever their utility is to control their appliances without their consent. That's simply not true. The smart meters enable customers to use additional information about how their house uses energy and wholesale market prices to control their own appliances in a way that they can manage their electric bills. So I want to be clear about that. I also want to acknowledge the privacy concerns that some customers, some commenters here have raised, and note that this is an issue that is of great concern to this commission and of great concern to me personally, and one that we are presently examining in the context of the ongoing smart grid proceeding. We had been scheduled to have a decision by the end of this year on the provisions on which smart grid data or smart meter data could be made available both to customers and to third-party companies. But we delayed that decision at the request of stakeholders who wanted to do a deeper dive on the privacy issues. And so I want you to understand that those issues are being thoroughly assessed here, and that anybody who's here as a citizen speaker has the opportunity to examine what's going on in that proceeding, to speak with our public advisor, to weigh in that proceeding on the privacy issues. Finally, it's my understanding that PG&E is examining some sort of opt-out program for customers who are electrically sensitive or concerned about electrosensitivity, and I think that's appropriate, and I hope we hear from PG&E about that at sometime soon. Thank you.
What about children?
You are stalling while they are installing.
That's right.
Here we go. Okay, this item is now ready for a vote. I've moved the item. All those in favor, please indicate. Well, never mind. We have one no vote, I believe. So call the roll. Commissioner Simon.
Commissioner Simon.
Yes, I'm voting in favor of the denial of the petition for modification.
Commissioner Grueneich. Yes. Commissioner Bohn.
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan.
No.
President Peevey.
Yes. So the matter passes 4-1. Thank you very much. Now we turn to water matters.
We just want to leave it
Excuse me,
Thank you all for being here.
Excuse me, President Peevey, I failed to hold item 44 from the dais as originally laid out. I think in a note that went to your office and others, so I would now request a hold on that.
Yeah, my record shows it's being held, so thank you very much. Okay. So we now turn to item 41, which several people spoke to, regarding Monterey County.
How do you sleep at night when you know you're injuring people? People are being injured.
Goodbye.
How do you sleep at night?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Dismiss this issue with a goodbye. It doesn't end that easily.
It's not
in your
going to
mandate.
stop.
Declare the vote.
It's not over. It's not over.
Okay.
And we will win.